Nsia abo adeshima ma yamamu yina akwaba ne ache edeba virgin anopa no nsia kase eso ensema ekoso e wo man Ghana wo man ahodo so ena yaboabo bi ano ne de ba besumu anopa se virgin anopa no nsia kase de edimu akotini ebi ene se na watwe mu ena Ghana yenya imfie aduasia ena meche 64 years yempanifo wo mobon modern no moje ye fa hodie edemaye no sanso ena covid-19 ne dru anyamiadom ababedru oman Ghana mu no de tosumienu no nyamiadom ababedru oman Ghana emu Saranso ena onimonyamfo jogate ni nsamu ina ene se ever since I am penifo wo mo eje ye fa hodie edemaye no eyade a Ghana ye tu empom papa eyie na yedo ebeko ensemfufro mu enso a covid-19 no eno ena yenuanom ebi enkofo makomako enwotwe afemu ahwere wo mo enkwa na enei ayehosam ababeto edwa ene se ukopie mu ewo mfimfini mantemu a enkwanhye bia esi ewo ho eno ena nimpa baako afemu ahwere ne nkwa emu edu nso de wo mugu ayaresabia na omoje ayarehwe ensem bi eka we hu eni gedie mu ensem amanone ensem ena no pe ya boboa no yede ba besum se virgin anopa no nsia kase hyene nso se ye success preparatory school wo mo ena so ya sen emi etimede kase ebro success ana wo mo edem musronkom medi ede nan na pia akire ba me ena me ba bekan kase no ede ama ye twa ye ho ye ba ye de kase no beto amoso sai ema wakwaba safe ena waso wafide na ena ye virgin anopa no nsia kase afa kase no enkyerem say ye ba oman Ghana mu a obenimbo so me ne de toso nsia meche 6 March 1957 ena ye mpanifo wo mo ede wo mo nkwan to ho na omogi Ghana ye mfa hodie ede maye ne no ena afa yi mu ede no obenimbo so me ne de toso nsia no eno esi miminde ya na eno ena Ghana na nke wo se ye mremu no ye to santen na suku nkoda no wo mo etwakrom ne yehunu sampa no enne eye ye fa hodie eda na san covid-19 no ne eho ensensemu nti no empanifo ama bibia entimi ankoso sa ne no ena omkohie mu ewo Flagstaff House na wo mo da Ghana said ye ni nyina edi ekire no ye mampani ekasa ye na wo kasa ne mu ena wodi to dwa se esanse covid-19 no enti no Ghana ye hunu ne se ni ye na wo mo eye ni nyina no ekire se ye bebo ye ho ban papa eyie na yetimi age ye ho afri covid-19 no eho enu nti no enhyehyeye anase nyomo modi egu akwamu no ye momoden si ye bedi so sanso ena wo hwe ni mu se afi ye bebe ni de eyade Ghana ebefri tebia baako na akobia foforo emu na wo kasa no sei ena wodi to dwa.
As we lowered the British Union Jack on the eve of 6 March 1957 and replaced it with our own, the iconic red, gold, green flag with the black star in the center. The mood of citizens of this newly minted state was one of unrestrained excitement and jubilation because of the prospects of what the future held for us. Later that night, at the old Polo Grounds, that vision of what an independent Ghana could be, that is a prosperous, progressive country, which was to be an active player in the affairs of the continent and the world, was eloquently laid bare by our historic first leader, Kwame Nkrumah. The world indeed took notice of us. We have the likes of Dr. Martin Luther King, Mrs. Coretta Scott King, Philip Randolph, Adam Clayton Powell, Ralph Bunche and Horace Mann, leaders of the American Civil Rights Movement, as well as U.S. Vice President Richard Nixon, present with us to commemorate the birth of our new nation. We were an example for the rest of Africa to follow. Not surprisingly, much was expected of the poster boy country. On 63 previous occasions, we've usually congregated in our capital of Accra, and recently in other locations around the country, Tamale in 2019, and Kumasi last year, to celebrate our nation's independence. At these annual events, we have sought to express a deep consciousness of love for country and the importance of ensuring that we realize our potential as the Black Star of Africa. Year after year, we commit ourselves to ensuring that we work to lift the standard of living of the Ghanaian and help construct an economy that is capable of creating a society of opportunities for all. It's taken quite some time for us to get there, but I believe there is far more self-confidence among us Ghanaians today than there has been since the very early days of self-government, that we can make it if we work at it. Today, freedom and the cultivation of democratic values are strengthening our determination to bring into being a new Ghana that is neither pawn nor victim of the world order. Attachment to the rule of law, respect for individual liberties, human rights, the principles of democratic accountability, and the dictates of social justice has deepened for our common benefit. Nevertheless, we recognize that the biggest challenge confronting us is to be able to put our country on the path of sustained progress and prosperity and enhance the well-being of every Ghanaian. Since 2017, a considerable amount of work has been undertaken to help us achieve this objective. Consistently for 3 successive years, our nation had one of the fastest growing economies in the world, lead us to become the largest destination of foreign direct investment in West Africa. Global automobile companies had either set up shop in Ghana or experienced their desire to do so. The basic tenets of social justice, that is access to education and health care, were being guaranteed for all our people. We've become self-sufficient in food production, and for the first time in a long while, exported our surpluses to our neighbors. Sustained efforts through digitization were being made to formalize our economy, and we had hastened our critical journey of industrialization and value addition activities, whose result would be to create jobs for the teeming masses of Ghanaians.
Ebusua ya mampeni na nadodan kwa kufado ena wote nese wo kasa no. Ye tuwa kasiye no eso dia nenye COVID-19 nedura nyame adom ababedu wo manga na mu ne ye hwese ye de bi ebe wo ye ho se de be ya ye betimi abo ye ho ban afri COVID-19 yade no eho no eye first batch na eba ye no na ababeto edwase nyame adom second batch no so ababedu o manga na emu na eno ebedu obeni mbosume ne da etosu no mechefia de ya na nyame adom empanifo kase ya adwen se ye nwo panie no ebino ye momode si ebe wo panie no ebi esanse panie no nya de din sunsuanso boni bia ebebreye nemom ba beboa na twenye efi COVID-19 yade no ehu
COVID-19 edura nyame adom ababedu wo maiga ne mu ne no emutimemfo ene mpanifo ehwe animu se obibia ebenye bi na sebe yetimi ade aboye ho ban efi COVID-19 yade no ehu Neno ɛna aba abɛtɔ edwa sɛ emu deɛ ɛtɔ so mmienu mekyɛ second batch no aba abɛduru ɔman Ghana mu ɛyɛ ɔbɛni bosome ne da ɛtɔ so num ɛna eduro no ɛba abɛduru ɔman Ghana mu. Neno ɛna mpanimfoɔ ɛde aba abɛto edwa sɛ ɛyɛ de yɛn mu bi ɛreka sɛ COVID-19 na eduro no sɛ wowɔ bia anhwɛ a na woyɛ ɔbaa mpo wɔntumi amfa yɛfun a woba saa nso ɛna woyɛ bɛrima anhwɛ a na sɛ bi wɔ bɛrima atumi akɔwu neno ɛna wɔn akyerɛ mu sɛ yɛade nokora bia ɛnnimu na nti yɛmmɔ mmɔden sɛ COVID-19 eduro nyame adom mpanimfoɔ abɔ mmɔden na aba abɛduru ɔman Ghana mu no yɛbɛtumi akɔwɔ paneɛ no ebi sɛdeɛ ɛbɛyɛ a yɛbɛtumi abɔ yɛn ho ban afiri COVID-19 yadeɛ no ho na yɛtumi atu ase deku na yɛtumi adi adwuma sɛdeɛ nkane no yɛdi no pɛpɛɛpɛ.
Ghana yɛfa hodie ɛda metwe sit match ya ɛno ɛna mpanifo ekohyia mu na wɔn mo ɛma Ghana yɛhunu nsa ampa ɛnɛ ɛna yɛnya yɛfa hodie no mpanifo no bi ɛkasa yɛ no onimonyamfo Jogate wɔno ɛna yɛmrahyɛ bedwani ɛdema esikado keten wɔ kasa no ɛna wɔde tu dwa sɛ wɔhwɛ ɔman Ghana mu a efiri sɛ yɛmpanifo ɛkogye ɔman Ghana efiri yɛmpanifo bi ɛnsɛm no ɛyade ɔman Ghana no ɛtu mpɔmpɔpapa ɛyie sanse wɔno deɛ hwɛ efiti daba kwa Ghana yeje yefa hodie no Ghana ya boye ho modern pa eye uba ne aduane anase ye economy nimpa yadia ekona nimpa papa eye enu nti wode aseda kase ma ye mpanifo num ebia ebi ede Dr. Kwame Nkrumah ene omo bebre a omo boaye na yeje wo man Ghana ede si ho
Obenim bosom de to sunsia wo apema hankoni edunum enso emumiche 6 March 1957 ano mange na nya efa hodie edisi honom na ya anasa da idru Ghana fo nyina da ntitu ni emosuku fon kwada ekokomache de hye edayi enso na empoye de akaka ye ho na afidie no meche 2021 de no eyade se no so esi ye meche 6 March 2021 no eyade se no so esi ye ewo memede ya na se de beyo na coronavirus de no obi nkonkote tibi emfanyo no ho na empo eguso a consider be no ebetimi etu asede free o man Ghana mu enti no eyade sempinfo de babetu dwase nya de won bema kwan amazuku von kwada yi akwakọ mache na ededru ya pinfo hodro na kasa etufo ede a Ghana for se de be na ye bibi e wo man Ghana mu no etimi agina brane ewo oman no emu enam so amonmunyamfo Jogata ono eye former attorney general edema oman Ghana wakasa achiremu ese efiti abra yenya yefa hodie ewo man Ghana mu eyade se sikasem ho semsem no bebi egina ana egina wakasa achiremu ese Ghana mampanyin na na dan kwakufa do eba abamu no ana otimi eboa yema esikasem ho tohye no etimi ekọ nanim kakra na efiti honom de bebi egina ana egina enam so amode futu sem kase akọ de magana fo nyina da ese adaroma enyina da yemwane emfa ho enhye omanye adwuma hodwo mu se de bi ona yesikasem ho totoye no etimi akọ nanim brane ewo man no emu
Ebusia yetu akase bono eso na COVID-19 yade ya eno ena ababeto edwase nkofo makomako nwotwe ena womo afemu sebe womo ahwere womo nkwa esan yade no eti na eno ena mpanifo ede ababeto edwa ekire mu se eyade Ghana fo no bi yehunu ni se o man Ghana sese no yenye edura yede bo ye ho ban afri COVID-19 no ehunu nti no enhyehyɛ ye gu akwan mu no yeyi yani ede ama no ebi te se hyew nose mask wo horo won sam use sanitizer no ye mubinom ye jazz anioma no na no ena omo kire yen se yade a eduro no abade ne so no yade no eda so ewo ho enti ye momoden se ye bedi hyehyɛ ye ahodo no eso na timi aboa ne eduro no yetimi ede ako etia COVID-19 yade no
ye be ni ani beba yan ho so ne timi abo yan ho ban area free ade kodie coronavirus na empo yetimi tu asie kra area free o man Ghana emu ne ho timi atoye no entino enam so amaso ya won mo hwe ya pomde ho nsam so e wo man Ghana emu meche Ghana Health Service abrano ni abrano bia no won mo ekenkan coronavirus ade yade kodie wonu be bia akwakoduru e de kire Ghana for se be na Ghana for eni beba won ho so ye papa na empo nhyehyɛ ahodede egu akwam no enyina da ye hwe ne edi so pepepe and also ama wɔn mo de aba bɛto edwa sɛ sɛ yɛkasa yɛn enipa afa yade no mu asanso ahwere wɔn mo nkwa biom ɛyɛ mmɔtwe a beebi a na ɛwɔ dada no ɛyade sɛ mmɔtwe no akɔkɔka ho ama sese nipa a wɔn mo nam coronavirus ɛde no so ahwere wɔn mo nkwa wɔ man Ghana emu ɛyɛ 637 na wɔkyerɛ afoforo kora aba bɛka ho ɛyɛ 503 a sese yɛkasa Ghana fa de hyɛ nkwa ya enya yade no ebi ɛwɔ ɔman Ghana hanom ɛsɛ ɛyɛ 85,742 ɛnam so ama wɔn mo ɛde afutusɛm kɛse pa akɔ de Ghana fo sɛ adaroma wɔn mo ɛnhwɛ na hyehyɛ ahodoɔ a yɛde egu akwan mu sɛ yɛnhwɛ yɛn horohoro yɛn sɛ na afei mpo nso no nose mask ahodoɔ yɛnhwɛ na afei nso no social distancing yɛnhwɛ na kwan mmra yɛn ho ne yɛn ho ntem no yɛnhwɛ ni nyina da ɛso sɛ bɛyɛ ne nyina da yɛko ɛde atia coronavirus ɛde no etimi ni akɔ
ebusua enkyeye bia ne ba beto edwa se ema ne ema ene mema ne mema womo edumedi womo edi me kyese womo fa womo ho e wo man Ghana mu no eyade a ekoso papapa eye ne no na mpanifo no bi ekasetie se yade a entimi emmoa o man Ghana titiriw ene mabunu a afei ene womo eba e wo man Ghana emu no ne no ene onmonyamfo Hassan Ayariga wono ene ye frankatufo ede ma APC meche afie atwam abato ye to ye no wodi aba betu edwa se empanifo momoden so mbehye mrakete ya etia sadie yi se de beye Ghana fo no bi ebetimi ede atu wo mo ho efom esanse wo mo hunu se mra bia eni ho enu nti ni de ombeye bia no wo mo ye ni free nenso no se mra ebeda ho se wo bia ye bechewo se wo ye sadie we no ye betwe waso a ogidi se enkofo no bi ede betu wo mo ho fo na emom no sa adwumadi wo mo edi no wo mo ejai na etire etwa korakora
Onimonyamfo Hassan Ayariga wono ene tu franka edema APC amanyoko no ewa fimpino ni aduonu abato yeto ye no emu na wono ene wodi ababeto edwa no wo kyemu se eyade ema ne ema womo eda sanso ena mema ne mema dwumede womo edi ewo man Ghana emu no empanifo womo wo mahyebedefie ene Ghana empanifo momodin se wombeye emrakete no mo ade ohye atoso se wo bibia yebehu wo se wo ni wo nyonko ba anase wo nyonko be ma edi enkita ho bia no eyade emra no ene wo bedi na nyonyonyo wo kasa no ene wo kire mu se eyade enkofo no bi ehunu ni se emra bia eni ho a ekekere wo mo efa sade no ehu enu nti wo mo wo ho akonya se Ghana empanifo etena se no mo ye hwehan na wo mo amfa mra bia amma book mu anase Ghana ye constitution mu amma meko entia sade ya eyade ebeha papa eye dache enkire ma ebeba no anhwa na entimi ankwankoye asempa amfa ma oman Ghana eni mutimamufo enti empanifo momoden se ombedi emra anase ombehye mra ebetimi na edi akoatia eye gay lesbian bisexual transgender queer intersex no ewo oman Ghana emu
that has been widely discussed in the media, and people of all walks of life have had a bite. But I believe that today we'll hear from members of this House. But I just want us to contextualize the statement, because I hear two statements. There's one statement that speaks to the issue of a group forming an association to advocate for LGBT rights to be recognized in Ghana. And I hear another statement which speaks to LGBT itself. And so we need to be careful what we are discussing. In my opinion, the first statement, which speaks to the issue of the formation of an association to advocate of LGBT rights, borders essentially on the question of freedom of speech, freedom of association, freedom of assembly. That is what we are talking about here. We are not talking about LGBT. You may not like a certain view, you may not like a certain practice, but our Constitution recognizes freedom of speech, freedom of belief, freedom of conscience. And so the question is, do people have a right to form an association to advocate for a position to become accepted by the laws of Ghana? Do they have that right? And I take a position, and I stand to be challenged, that we need to be careful to distinguish between the freedom to speak about something, the freedom to advocate that we should accept it, as against the thing itself. The law prohibits unnatural carnal knowledge. So you cannot engage in unnatural country. And you have no right to engage in unnatural carnal knowledge in this country. And so you cannot seek protection for it. But if you think that you want to advocate for it, and you form an association to engage in the advocacy, I take a legal position that you cannot stop people advocating for something to be recognized by the law. If you stop people from advocating for something to be recognized by the law, at that point you are transgressing, you are stepping on freedom of speech. And you cannot stop people from coming together to say they want to advocate. At that point, you are stepping on freedom of association. That is what I have issue with, and I have spoken on radio several times, and I have said that let's ask ourselves those fundamental questions, and then the fact that a view is not popular. Gay lesbianism is not a popular view in Ghana today. So, because it's not a popular view today, should we punish anybody expressing that view? No. You can't punish somebody that view. But you can punish him for practicing it. If they practice it, you can arrest them, you can prosecute them, and they have no defense if it is proven beyond reasonable doubt that that is what they are engaged. But if they say they want to open an office, they want to draft a bill, they want to come and meet the parliamentary caucus on gender and others, and to present an argument why we have gotten to a point in Ghana where they feel that such a position should be accepted by the laws of Ghana, that cannot be stopped. Stopping that is a clear violation of our own constitution. So let's be careful. Today, it is gay, lesbian, transgender position that is unpopular, and you are criminalizing and punishing it. Tomorrow, something that today is perfectly legitimate can also become an unpopular position. And then we will say we want to punish those who share that view. So I know that this is a very unpopular position to take, but I take a position that let's separate freedom of expression, let's separate freedom of belief, let's separate freedom of association and the practice of gay, lesbian, transgender, and the criminalization of gay activity. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, indeed, and I challenge people to go to our courts on this matter. Our own law, section 99 and 104 of our criminal code, it is proscribing unnatural carnal knowledge. And the same criminal code defines what unnatural carnal knowledge is. It says that unnatural carnal knowledge is where there is penetration. Okay? So it means that unless you're able to prove penetration, you can't really punish anybody for anything. And so in other jurisdictions, they have tried to change the law to prohibit everything else that is associated with gay and lesbian activity. Now, if you don't amend the law, exactly. So the issue then is the law says that where there is unnatural carnal knowledge, and unnatural carnal knowledge is where there is penetration. Now the question is where some people live together, but you can't prove that they are penetrating each other's, now and then. I can't say it. They are penetrating each other's unnatural areas. Mr. Speaker, it becomes difficult. I saw people see people walking in the street and holding each other in a certain way. They hold each other. They are violating the laws of Ghana. There's no law that prohibits two men holding their hands in a certain way. And there's no law that prohibits two women holding their hands anyway.
Ebusia nene arehosama ababeto dwa ene se wokọ emfimfini mantema ekura edim gomua eho ena akwanhia bi esi na no enam so ama nipa baako de sebe wafemu ato nananom ewo nsiado a emudu nso wo mugu ayaresa be omoje ayarehwe na ni hinada ene se spinter baako ene eye private car wo no efri Accra na wokọ ye mankesim sanso ena spinter no wono so efri mankesim oba Accra net spinter no anase private car no wo pa ne nua ehomeche overtaking na nyame adom ni ti anya yie no wodi ekohie mu e spinter no emu a ama ene ye nuanom bi wo mo eda moje mu na ebi mu nso egu ayaresa bia wo mo eje ayarehwe
oye yin de yareba na yefire enya de foka no anyin suru yerko Accra nti yeduri apam no ena ya atra ho kakra ba ekwa bi wo ho menyim ne dine mom impumam wo fo ho impumam ena ka no kasa akase e ba sa twere wo nanim nti oye overtaking nti oye overtaking no na ka ko so pre nanim ma oreba na bia ma woda nka ohye no ena ohye ho onyeyi because kasa ne akase nti car kakra ba na private car na oreba no ofi Accra oreba no oye na adwene ori sifo ma ama ena no so ye na adwene ori sifo ma ama private car no na wo de crash edoma ye wo car nim de na car no oye set nti edoma wempira kaseze yemfa no oba ye 6 ena ho so a wempira kwa no oba ye 3 mom kafo ni na ye pirafo na ekro we fim ekro ewu
ebusia video no ena wohu ye no eye ka mienu na wo mo ehia so no enu video no ena etwagu ye no Ebusiana ye do beko enije kasie mu na hyene so say ye Success Preparatory School wo mom ene boye chidom eme ye de kasie ebrewo anano pay Success wo mo ewo nsawom adeso kwantempo no eso eho ena wo behunu wo mo se oba no se ne ya na wo nimpo afane bra na wo mo hwene mfama na wo so kọ ba bia wo pese wo kọ Success ana wo mo edemu soronko na ye to kasie ne so a na ye de wo kọ enije kasie emu ne no ena producer ni din edi DDT wo babonti na nisemu yina ne se wono de ohunu ni sesesie no eye music industry no wo mo etumpon papa eye na wo kasa no ene wo kire mu se eye de sesesie no wo mo wonwumtuo ekuo no emu no wo mo edi obuo papa ema wo mo mpanifuo se mpani bi ekasa yese ya nenu ane se wo mo eguso eye enu ntino ama sesesie no music industry no emu apagya papa eye wo mo eda nyankopon ase se wodi wo mo afri baby edi wo mo akodru baby
Elijah Noti Thompson dodo ne din different no any DDT ono anso eye music producer ewo Ghana emu wakasa achemu SSO de enkanteto nyuma na ye mame mo ne ye papa mo ne ye nanonom ebobobobo wo Ghana emu edisuto enenwum to a ekoso a na achese ene Ghana music industry no eyade se akonanim ye papa wocha enkanteto na ampo na eye nyumtofo ahodo wonom ebo Ghana mu no enya de se wonom enya eye management anampo se obi Emma no etian ho anapo se tinitini wo mo ewo kwan bi eso na mpo wono mo ahwa toto enema hodo na ede ama eye anyumtufo nyina da nanso wakasa chemu ss wo hwe ene anyumto a ekoso ene Ghana music industry nyuma na chese enema akoso wo hono ye papa esanse so wo kira se nyumtuni bi epie se opanyuma to na se wo bonyuma ade se oni kro no enya management na se onye obi eso ne mu na mpo ama ne nyumto adwuma no etumi amma no hono so na se mpo se etumi apagya ewo emwan no emum enunti wakasa ede abasobode kese pa akọ ede Ghana music industry se eyade se de onu mo ebo humodin ye papa wonu dwumedi a wodi ewo man no emu
Ebusia na ye gina we so na ye twa ye ho tia wa ye ba ye do bekọ amanone ensem emu Ebusia ye san ema wakwa abasa fei ena waso wefidie na ye virgin anopa no nsia kase ena ye de ebro afei ye kwa amanone ensemu ne no ene kubatan a womo omohwe Ghana eni wiase afa na nyina yapomuden ho ensem so mechwe World Health Organization a ye twaniti ase hu womodi aba bonten na womo ntemu nyina ne se nhwehwemu abede di se yade a COVID-19 yade no ba ye no yade a titiriu mema no ene womo ewu sanso ena mema no ene etimi achi womo papa eye nemomu ma no de yade omunya omutiri edidi musempo no yade no womunya bia womo ho eto womo entem sanso ena ma no de entimi enchi womo papa eye
World Health Organization ayetwa na etiase hu kubatan a ebaya pomodin ho ensem so ewo wiase fa na nyina womo ena ehwe so ne no ena modi ababeto edwase COVID-19 yade esanse ebabeto wiase fa na ne besensen yekomu a aye krankra ye ho hwe ya enye yie no yade a emema ena titiro no etimi eche womo papa eyie na womo so ena seso mu na wantinya wutire endidi mu a etimi ede kopiemu ewo ansie do mekire emema adodo na ena afemu ahwere womo enkwa na emom ema no de nyamnya dom yade COVID-19 yade no se enhwehwemu no womo aye hunu ni se ema no enya de etimi chi womo nempo no echi womo nya womo tiri etimi edidi mu esanse COVID-19 yade no eba ye no womo hwehwemu ekire se emema no ena achi womo bebre asen ema no ewo wiase afa na nyina titiru ene ebibiman no emu
Ebusia na ha ene brebe makwan na nopa no nsia kase no yedi asi na hyene so se de ide brewo ebi ene se COVID-19 edro nyamia dom second batch no ababedru wo man Ghana mu ye ba behwe say ye de bewo inkronkro akodo na aka no ebi saranso ena COVID-19 ni ya yade ankofo mako enwotwe ena afemu ahwere wo mo enkwa na awehosem ababeto edwa eni se wo mfimfini mantem no emu a yade a ka kwanhia bi asi ewo ho ema nipa bako afemu ahwere no nkwa emu dudu no wo mo egu aban ayaresabia wo moje ayarehwe Ebusia ensem bi eka we ho amanone ensem eni jedie mu ensem eni ye de besumo anopese virgin anopa no nsia kase na hyene nso se ye success preparatory school wamom ene boy ye chidom am yetimi de kase ebrewo ena anopai midin ede na na akua akire ba ye mamomoni hwa enyadu